Told the truth about what my coworker did to me and my family. Now everyone hates her, wondering if it's my fault for sharing. First, the context. I, 21, was recently in a mild car accident with my coworker, not sure how old she is, but at least 40 probably. I would regularly give her and others rides from work because she lives really close and I didn't mind sparing her the money she'd spend on a taxi. I don't own the car, it is my parents', but it gets really good gas mileage and driving 2 miles isn't a big deal to me with their permission. I was just trying to be kind and do people a favor. While others expressed gratitude and respect for me, she kind of took advantage of me and expected it from me because I have trouble saying no. 3 to 4 times she told me, not asked me, to stop at a store gas station for her to get snacks and cigarettes. Again, I struggle to say no, especially when someone intimidates me. I shouldn't have done it, so that's on me, egg. But still, she took advantage of me regularly because she knew she could. The car accident was not my fault in the slightest. Someone ran a stop sign on a road where I didn't have a stop sign and I was going the speed limit. Luckily, I was paying attention and was able to hit the brakes in time, so the bumper was a little messed up, but there was no serious damage. The driver and passenger of the other car were very hostile to us, and my coworker was saying she was going to sue them. She didn't look like she was in pain. She was standing and walking fine, but just said, "Oh, my back hurts a little," and seemed to find it funny. The impact wasn't super hard. It's not like anybody else got whiplash or anything. She was even joking around and laughing with the police officer about how she was going to get her check. He offered her an ambulance, and she said she was fine, and that wasn't necessary. She ended up going to the hospital a day later. I'm pretty sure that was solely for having a medical record of it, but I don't know what the doctor said diagnosed. I honestly didn't think she was seriously injured because she had no mobility issues or obvious pain, but I can't prove that, of course. Even though I thought it was bees, I still checked in on her the next couple days to see how she was doing, and she told me she was okay. A week or 2 afterwards, her and another coworker were kinda aggressively pestering me to get a lawyer to sue them so they can't sue me first. But they had no grounds to sue, and I just didn't think that was necessary or worth the time and effort, and I had no desire to cause harm to them. Now onto the real problem. I found out recently that my coworker is suing me, my insurance company, not the other driver. She was aware that my family's financial situation is very poor, just barely making it by paycheck to paycheck, and that we were already on thin ice with our insurance, so I was super anxious about the accident. She was fully aware that a lawsuit would seriously destroy my entire family, because my brother got in 3 no-fault accidents within the last 3 years, 1 totaling his car. Our insurance bill was very high, and we were kind of hanging on by a thread with that company. I guess the lawsuit was their last straw, so they dropped us, and by November we will be uninsured. We're not eligible for new insurance until the lawsuit is settled, and since it's illegal to have a car on a loan uninsured, there is a possibility of my parents losing their cars. My entire family is in an unbearable level of stress because no cars means we can't get to our jobs without spending a small fortune on public transportation. My job is 24 miles away, and my brother's job is impossible to do without a car, so there is a possibility of us losing our jobs and almost half of the household income. Again, my coworker was aware of all of this before filing the lawsuit. Why I think I might be the asshole? I told 3 of my coworkers about the lawsuit, 2 of them because I see them as friends that I can trust, and they had asked me about what was going on with the accident. I was vague at first with the details, but it's been eating me alive with the stress, so it kind of came pouring out, and I said more than I needed to. The 3rd coworker that also knew about the accident asked me for a ride to the train station, so I explained that I'm not allowed to give people rides anymore because of the lawsuit, so we had to take the work van instead. I didn't tell her as much about it, but still I didn't need to tell her about the lawsuit. I could have just blamed it on the accident itself. All 3 of them promised they wouldn't tell anyone, and I believe them, so I don't expect rumors drama to spread around. None of them particularly liked her anyway, because she just isn't a friendly person and can be pretty standoffish, so I wasn't ruining friendships or anything, but it definitely worsened their opinions of her. For more clarification, I wasn't talking smack or calling her names or anything, just saying factually what happened. One of the coworkers I told blocked her phone number. I told her not to, but she said it was her own decision and not my fault, and she promised that she wouldn't say anything about me if she gets asked why she blocked her. The one filing the lawsuit called the work phone 4 times during our shift to try to speak to the one that blocked her, but she didn't answer the phone. I also told our manager about the situation, both because I thought it was necessary to disclose, and because I wanted to make sure I wouldn't lose my job if I took a temporary leave of absence due to the transportation issue. She's a per diem worker, sort of a substitute that works at other locations as well, so this manager isn't her direct supervisor. She already didn't like the coworker because allegedly she has caused problems with several other employees. My manager called her disgusting and was almost more upset than I was, and agreed that it was really messed up to knowingly harm someone who was doing her a favor. She even offered me permission to record her discreetly if I wanted to have proof of her functioning as normal, gave me info to contact an insurance agent, and gave me the phone number for HR to get proof that she hasn't missed work because of the injury. I didn't ask for any of this, she offered it. I may be naive, but I'm not an idiot, and I'm so hurt that I only ever showed her kindness and empathy, and she took advantage of me for her own benefit. I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt the day I found out and that there may be some mistake. As she said, she would be suing the other person, and my legal name is not the name I use at work. But she's been ignoring my texts, even though she's always on her phone and refuses to give me the contact info of the witness. She definitely knows what she's doing and how this is impacting me, and is intentionally avoiding me so that I have no defense in the lawsuit. I did her a favor over and over again for several months, asking for nothing in return, and she showed zero appreciation for it and screwed me over as much as she possibly could. I feel really guilty now because it wasn't necessary for me to keep talking about it and even though it made me feel better validated, it's none of their business and I don't know if it was wrong for me to involve them. While the lady kind of deserves it, I wasn't trying to make anyone hate her. So finally, am I an a-hey for telling people that weren't involved about what my coworker did to me and my family?
Next story.
Ruined my boyfriend's proposal because of the location he chose. Now he's upset. Am I overreacting? Hi everyone. There is a bit of drama happening between my boyfriend 28M and I 26F currently, and I need help. I think context is extremely important here. 9 years ago, I had an extremely traumatic experience. I was at the beach with my friends when I got caught in a rip and started drowning. Thankfully, a bodyboarder held me up as I started going under, and then a lifeguard brought me back to land. Ever since this happened, I have developed a severe fear of the water. I have not gone swimming since. I won't even get into a bathtub. I absolutely hate the water. My boyfriend is aware of this. It was our 4-year anniversary 3 days ago, and he had planned a super big surprise for me. But as soon as we arrived at the marina, I realized what was happening and I went into panic mode. My boyfriend had chartered a private yacht for our anniversary. I told him, that I cannot get on a boat. He asked me why not. I had to remind him that I am fearful of the water. He quickly became frustrated and told me that I'm not going in the water, I'm going to be on a yacht, so it's safe. I explained to him that's irrelevant. I literally cannot be near or on the water without freaking out. I blatantly refused to get on the yacht. Long story short, we returned home and he started arguing with me immediately. I told him that I will give him the money that he paid for it. But he said that he isn't angry about the money he wasted. He's angry that I ruined something romantic that he had planned months ago. He then revealed a ring box and told me he was planning on proposing to me on the yacht. I was surprised by this, but also confused. I asked him why he thought it would be a good idea to propose to me on a yacht, knowing my trauma surrounding the water. To which he replied, go to a fag therapist and work it out then, instead of punishing and embarrassing me over it. I'm thinking of leaving him over this. We've barely spoken since. I do feel guilty, and I absolutely do want to marry him, as he is the love of my life, but I cannot control my phobia. And I do think he should have known better. He could have chosen literally anywhere else to propose to me, but he really thought that's the best place. Now I'm just really confused.
Next story.
Excluded my older sister from family events because of her parentification trauma. Now everyone's mad at me. Am I wrong? My 35F younger siblings, 34F, 31M, 31F, 30M were practically raised by our oldest sister, 40F. Neither of our parents were there for us, so she had to act like a mother to us despite being a child herself. She never had time for studying, socializing, or hobbies, and both her grades and her mental health were greatly affected. She started working at age 13 and dropped out of school at 16 to work full-time to support us. Due to her childhood, she can't handle being around children at all. They trigger her trauma, and she starts crying, panicking, and having anxiety attacks. We've all tried to be supportive of her. The thing is, between the 5 of us, we have 16 children aged between 7 months and 12 years. We all live in the same town, and we try to spend time with our sister, but we have to look after our kids too. Anytime we invite her to family gatherings, she refuses to come if our kids are around. The thing is, we can't just leave our kids every time she wants to hang out, and we can't ban our own children from family events. She would complain every time we refused to have a child-free event and say we need to include her more. Eventually, we stopped inviting her to events. My sister was furious with us for excluding her. She called us ungrateful for sacrificing her childhood to raise us. She accused us of abandoning her just like our parents did, and said it wasn't fair for her to be ostracized from such a close-knit family after all that she'd done for us. Of course, I'm grateful for what she did, but I can't ignore my own kids.